A new attack campaign dubbed FortiBlade is just discovered, and since I work with Fortinet a ton, and talk about it a ton, I want to give you my opinion about it. So what does this attack consist of? Well, a big portion of it is credential stuffing. So they took billions of credential attempts against hundreds of thousands of FortiGates and some SQL servers, but I think that's probably for lateral movement, not 100% sure on that. But that means they took leaked credentials, leaked combos, and tested them against all these FortiGates to see which ones they could get into. And before I even open up the article, I called it. I knew what was going to be the affected systems: SSL VPN and admin web portals. And I bet you know exactly why this one. So SSL VPN, it's a bit more understandable because yes, while it is deprecated, that is still relatively recent, and migration can take some time and red tape. So I know of environments that are still within this migration, but it's deprecated, it's going away, and not just with Fortinet, with any firewall vendor. It's just not a secure way of doing VPN. But mind you, that is not the main part of this attack, of this campaign. It was credential stuffing. And of course, the majority of affected devices expose their FortiGate management interfaces directly to the internet. Now the numbers they came up with here, I'm not so sure of. I think there's some context missing, because while they say half of the internet accessible Fortinet firewalls, they mentioned it was 75K in here, but earlier there was over 300,000 in the attempts. So I'm not sure exactly how they figured half. Now I know my viewers don't do this, but this is something we've been saying for as long as I've been an engineer, which is almost a decade now, damn. But you don't expose your administrative access to the internet, no matter what platform you're on. And that is where I kind of have a problem in the way this is presented in a lot of different forms, because they kind of put it in a way of like, oh, it's another Fortinet flaw, or it's another, they've dropped the ball or something, but they really didn't. And it's not just Fortinet either. I mean, besides that Microsoft SQL servers were involved in AD, those were obviously targets for lateral movement, but it wasn't even just Fortinet that was being attempted to be compromised here. They were hitting VPNs from other vendors. It's just, it was mostly Fortinet. And why is that? Well, if you don't know, more than half of all the firewalls in the world are Fortinet. So yeah, that makes sense. And obviously I have some bias here, but I mean, there was no new vulnerabilities as part of this attack campaign. And this was from stolen data, and it meant you had bad password management and bad implementation, but bad best practices. Like, at what point do we say it's on the engineer's fault, on the IT team, that we need to do better? Because tell me if you've heard this one before. The mitigations for this big attack is rotate your credentials, enable MFA, patch your stuff, and as for VPN, use secure access. I know, there's circumstances where we have our hands tied. We either don't have a support contract or are running way too many things with way too little resources, and it gets away from you. But that's still not a fault of the platform. If you're worried, there is websites set up to check your IP and your domain to see if your information is within this compromise, so please go check it out. But yeah, my main takeaway wasn't, oh, this is a bad insecure platform or anything like that. It was more so with in this day and age, with as much security awareness as we have now, and as long as we've been doing this, how is there still so many environments with such a bad security posture?